Hey guys, Loves to Loom here. Today I'm going to be showing you how to create my Sirga bracelet. This was created using the monster tail. And I did actually name this after a lioness that I have been seeing a lot on Instagram and YouTube. And since I've been watching that so much, I figured why not name this after Sirga the lioness. So with that being said, we are going to be making this version today. Now you have two options. It does not look exactly like this when it comes off of the monster tail. I don't have one to show you, but I am going to try to pull up a screenshot and show you an example. So when it comes off the monster tail, you can keep it looking like that. Or you can go down the bracelet and tighten it, which I will show you how, and it creates this look, which is a tighter look, and I do like how it looks like little braids. So it's kind of like a 2-in-1. So for today, you're going to need to choose 5 colors for this version. You're going to need one C-clip, your monster tail, and your hook, and we can get started. So to get started, I'm going to have that little pin dot on the left of my monster tail, and we're going to choose the white bands that make up the little knots right here. We're going to lay it like an upside down V. So we'll go diagonal to the upper center pin, push it down some. We're going to choose a cat band now, and I like you to not see that from the front, so I choose more of like a clear-ish band. We're going to wrap it 2 times on the top center pin, and now we're going to turn it around so we can loop that out. So we're going to go into the cat band and loop the first diagonal band to the left and the second one to the right. We're going to turn it back around, push it down a slight bit. We're going to now go into this front pin, grab the second band, and we're going to loop this to the center. Reattach it and do the same to the right one. We're now going to grab this green center band, and we're going to lay that going straight on the center. Anchor that with your finger, and we're going to loop both of these 2 bands up and over. Turn it around. Keep your finger there and loop up the bottom cat band on the center. We're going to turn it back around. We do a lot of turning on this, by the way. We're going to grab this straight band and take it off of that back pin, and we're going to bring it here to the front. Push it down, and we're going to loop the bottom band up and over. So that was the very start of it, and we now have to start again. So we're going to grab that same color white and lay an upside down V. And then we're going to grab that cat band color, which I'm going to use the clear, and we're going to wrap it 2 times on the top center. We're now going to introduce a new color, which is going to be the border. So I'm going to alternate 2 like I did here. So I'm going to start with pink. We're going to lay that going straight on this pin and on this one. We now need to do an inverted stitch on both of those. So we're going to be going inside the second band, grabbing the third, and looping it up. We'll do the same right here. I usually work in the gap because it's easier, but just in case it's confusing, I'll do it right here. Going inside the second, grabbing the bottom, and carefully looping that up. We're going to turn it around, and we need to loop out of that cat band again. So we're going to go into the cat band and loop these V's back to themselves. Like that. Turn it back around, so the dot should now be on your left. Just have to fix my band. So now we're going to come into this front pin right here. We're going to go inside the 2 top ones, grab the third, and we're going to bring that band to the center. Reattach it, and do the same to this one. We're going to grab a green center band and lay that, like so. Anchor it with your finger, and now we do have more layers to loop on this center one. We're going to grab the 2 middle whites, loop them up and over, and then the bottom green and loop that up. We're going to turn it around, keep anchoring that green band, and we're going to loop this bottom cat band up and over. Turn it back around. So from there, we do need to grab the band up here in the center, take it off of the pin, and bring it to the front and reconnect it on. Push it down a little bit, and then we're going to loop that bottom band up and over. So now we are officially ready to start the pattern, and we're going to go back to our first color. So I'm going to lay my V bands using my white. And then we're going to lay that clear cap band on the top center. We're going to loop the third band up and over on the front. This is a new step. So now we're going to actually go back to laying our border color, and I'm doing it in sets of 2 because I like how that color pattern looks. So I'm going to be using pink again, but you don't have to do that. You can lay a new color or all the same color. But I'm going to lay my border on the outer rows. And now we have to do the inverted stitch on the front 2 pins. So we're going to go inside the second band, grab the third, and loop it up. Do that same thing on this one. Push that down. We are going to turn it around so we can loop out of the cap band. We're going to push that out of the way and loop these V bands back to themselves. Turn it back around. We're going to go inside that same pin that we just looped the white to. We're going to push the 2 top bands out of the way, grab the third, and bring it to the center. Repeat for this one. Push that down, and we're going to grab our center green band and lay that going straight on the center. Anchor it with your finger. We're going to loop all the bottom layers up and over. If you want to grab it all at once, you can. I'm going to grab the middle 2, loop those up, and then loop the bottom up. Now I'm going to turn it around. Keep anchoring it. We're going to loop the cap band up. While we have it this direction, we're going to loop the bottom band up on both of these pins as well, which is the border. Turn it back around. We're going to reach back here and grab the band off here and bring it forward. Connect it on, push it down some, and loop the bottom band up. So we just finished that section and we're ready to repeat the pattern. So I'm going to go back to my first color and lay my white V's. I'm going to grab my clear cap band color and place that on the top center pin, wrapped around twice. We're going to loop the bottom band up and over on this front pin, right here as well. So now we need to lay our border color, and I'm going to switch this time. And we're going to lay that going straight on the outer pins. Now we have to do an inverted stitch on those same 2 pins. So we'll go inside the second band, grab the third, and loop it up. Do the same right here, going inside the second, grabbing the third, and looping it up. Push it down and turn it around. We're going to go into our cap band, and we're going to loop the white V bands back to themselves. We're going to turn it back around so the dot is on our left. We're going to go into this left pin, pushing back the top 2 layers, grab the third, and loop it to the middle. We're going to repeat that on the right one. There we go. So now we're going to grab our center band, and that is going to be my green that goes straight. I'm going to anchor it, and we're going to loop the bottom layers, starting with the middle 2 and then the bottom 1. Turn it around. We're going to loop the center cap band up and over. And we're also going to loop the bottom band on these 2 pins up and over. We will turn it back around. We're going to grab that band from back here and bring it forward. We're going to grab the bottom band on that same pin, loop it up and over, and that finishes that row. So we just completed another section, and we have to start that again. So we're going to start that again, going back to my white. We're going to lay that upside down V, and we're going to place the cap band on the top center. We now need to loop the bottom band up and over on these 2 front ones. Push that down, and we're going to lay our border. I have to lay this blue again because I'm laying them in sets of 2, just for my color pattern. Once you lay them, we have to do an inverted stitch on those same pins. So we'll go inside the second and loop up the third. Do that on both. Push it down some and turn it around so we can loop our V bands out. We're going to go into the cat band and loop them back to themselves. We will turn it back around. We're going to go into those front pins, push back the top 2 and grab the bottom, and we're going to loop that to the center. Push it down and we're going to lay our center green. We're going to loop the 2 middle bands and the bottom band up and over. Turn it around and we're going to loop the cat band up and over. And we're also going to loop the bottom band on these 2. Turn it back around so the dot is on your left. And we now need to grab that band from the back and we're going to bring it to the front. We're going to loop the bottom band up. And once again, we just completed another section. So we're going to go ahead and lay our V band. We will lay our clear on the top center. We're going to loop the bottom band up and over on the front. And now we're going to lay our border bands. So I've already laid 2 blues, so now it's time for me to go back to my set of pinks. And now we have to do the inverted stitch on the same pins. So go inside the second band, grab the third, and loop it up. We're going to do the same right here. We're going to turn it around. We're going to go into this cat band, and we're going to loop the white V bands back to themselves. And now we'll turn it back around. We're going to go into these pins. We're going to grab the very bottom band and loop it to the middle. Do the same right here. We're going to grab our green band for the center and lay that straight across. And then we're going to loop all of the bands underneath up and over. Turn it around. We're going to loop the cat band up and over. And the bottom band up and over on these 2. Turn it back around. Grab that center pin band, and bring it forward. And then we will loop the bottom on the center up and over, which completes our section again. So after that round, you can see it a little more, what I was talking about the pattern. So I'm definitely not going to tighten it. I'm going to keep letting it grow like that. And you should do the same, at least for now. And then you can decide if you want to tighten it once we get it a little longer. So I am going to put a timestamp on my screen, and it's going to pick up right where I'm leaving off. You guys are going to go ahead and keep repeating the instructions until it is long enough to fit your wrist. So go ahead and repeat that, and I'll meet you guys back here. Alrighty, you guys. So I did go ahead and made mine longer. But we need to go ahead and get this closed up. Your loom should look like how it would look if you're ready to start the next section, which looks like this. We are going to grab the top band from right here, and we need to temporarily move it to the middle. Do the same for this one. Just going to put it on the center pin for a minute. Now we're going to grab this back band back here and bring it to the front pin. And same for this one. We're now going to grab the top 2 bands and bring them back to the pin that they came from. Once you do that, we're going to grab the 2 bands underneath of that white and loop them up and over on each side. So we're going to reach behind this pin right here. That green band that is sitting right behind the pin, you want to grab a hold of that. This band right here. Pull it back and sit it on the pin behind it. We're now going to grab this white band right here and bring it to the center pin. Make sure it stays on top. And do the same for this one. We now need to go inside those two bands to grab the third one. We're going to actually bring this band back here, temporarily sit it there, and now release these front two. So now we're going to turn it around, and those two bands that are on that pin is what we are going to C-clip. So I'm going to actually take it off and C-clip mine. So this is when you need to make the decision whether you want to keep it how it looks right now, like this, or like this. So if you want to go with the tighter look, we have to stretch it. And I do it a section at a time. So I come down to the bottom, I would say about an inch. I grab each end and I pull. You have to pull it a couple times. You can see that it tightened up right there. So then I grab a section here and another about inch or so above and stretch again. You have to stretch it a good bit in order to get them to tighten up. So you can see how it's transforming. So there you can see it transform. So we have to come down to the bottom and deal with the cap-in situation. So it can be a little confusing on which side of the cap-in to grab, but here's the bottom of the bracelet. You don't want to grab the cap-in there. If you bend it up a little bit, the other side of the cap-in is sticking out a little bit. That is the part that you want to grab. Sometimes it kind of tucks in on the back side, but that is what you want to grab right there. So that's what I'm going to pull and connect my C-clip to, like so. But that is how you create my Sirga bracelet. I hope you guys enjoyed it, but that is going to be it for today, you guys. I really thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon at my next tutorial. Thanks, guys. Bye.